Well, hey guys, welcome to the stream, welcome to my channel, and welcome to yet another video. A video where we're continuing the series on this guy right here. That would be the Valkerie VF-1S Variable Strike Fighter by Bandai. So let's have a look at it. Well, we kind of have reached a point where we need to build one more of these. This is basically the entire intake, engine, and exhaust section. And of course there's two, so we have one built already here. This is ready to be installed, or at least almost. And so that's what we're at. I have both the arms built. Basically, these are going to be kind of part of the inner undercarriage, or underneath the fuselage, the bottom. Okay, that's where these go. And then we have our upper fuselage and wings already set. It's unfortunate that these don't go in tandem. They're individually, so you could be like that if you wanted. But yeah, that's that. We have our tail fins. You guys seen in the previous chapters, you already seen me build this part. So yeah, and of course we have our underneath, which is incomplete right now. I really have a feeling we have our little nubs right there. The connector looks like they're going to go there. So, but yeah, I'm speculating right now because we're not there yet. So we are going to build another one of these leg sections. Now this leg section is a little bit involved. It takes a little bit of time. It took me, I want to say about 2 hours to do this one. Of course, first time is always a little more difficult because you're kind of figuring things out, and I've got a little mess of car engines sitting on my desk here that I'm playing around with. So let's grab our instructions, get on our proper eyewear, and we will get into this. So I'll change the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Get my razor file and my nippers and all that fun stuff, and we'll get going on this. Okay, as the plane takes off. That's awesome. All right, let's change over here. All right, so we're going to be starting off with this little section here. We need some pieces off of the eye tree. Okay, so let's find our eye tree. Here's our eye tree. Now, basically, we're going to be eventually getting all of these pieces off of here, but we'll do step by step. 14 and 21 and 4. Okay, so 14 is this guy. Now I've gone ahead on these guys, and I've done a little bit of panel line washes to get some of this detail in here to pop out a little bit. Doing this beforehand, before assembly, so that, well, it just makes life a little bit easier. Once it's all assembled, it's kind of hard to get into the few of these places, especially on this kit. You know, if you guys watch my channel, you know I'm more used to building 1/48 scale aircraft, and this happens to be a 1/72. So it's yeah, everything's just a little bit smaller, although this is obviously a pretty big aircraft. It's because for 1/72 scale, this is actually pretty big. But that's all right. All right, so let's start off with those and get these cleaned up here. And of course, the gunmetal color, you don't have to worry about too much. A lot of this stuff is going to be hidden and not seen for the most part. The reason I say for the most part is this thing actually is basically a transformer. You guys who are Transformers fans would know right away that this thing is basically just a smaller plastic version of Jetfire, which was a nice thing to have. Looks like I've got dropped frames in my stream, so I am going to do something here, and it might require me to actually... Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this guy here, and he's going to be sitting like this with this piece down, and we're going to take this guy, and one thing they don't really show you what you're supposed to do, because it's just kind of funny looking, right? They're showing you it where it goes together, but it shows you on the opposite side, so it's kind of like, how does this all connect? Where are you trying to tell me to put this together as? I'll show you in a sec here. Just need to clean this up a little bit better. This guy needs to go in this orientation with these two lines facing up. Okay, and with this guy in that direction, you get this little nipple there, it goes in that hole. Just kind of set them in like that. Okay, and then you take this piece, and all of a sudden everything lines up like this. And you say, oh, that's how it goes. Okay, and just kind of sandwich it together, make a little sandwich. There you go. And so you have this. Okay, little hinge. So you start with this. Then you're going to grab these two guys, having cleaned them all up so they're all nice and pretty on the edges. Okay, and we're going to make a little sandwich. Okay, make another little sandwich. Let's do this. Doink, that, and then put this together, and boom, just like that. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to grab 19 and 20 and 15. 15 right here, right in front of me. And we need 19 and 20, that's these two. Basically what we're doing here is we're building some of the inner structure of what will be later known as the legs. But for now, we're just building an aircraft, right? We're just getting the inner structure of the engines. We're pretending we're building engines right now. Even though they don't quite look like engines, it's only because, well, it's futuristic clean, right? It's future military technology. And that's why we don't really recognize it right now. It doesn't look like something we're familiar with, right? It doesn't look like a typical F-14. It looks like it's maybe reminiscence of an F-14. Some military designer was in love with the look of the F-14, and so they decided to build a new one with new technology. And that's what they did, right? That's what we're going with. Okay, so with this, in this position, we're going to find this like this, line up our hole here and here, and get that one put on. Okay. Okay, just like that. And now we take this guy. I had some trouble trying to figure this one out on the other one. Just the way it's oriented. But it does sit like this, and it sits in there kind of sideways. And it's weird. But you got these two little nubs on each side, and they go in there. Now I have this to flip this over to get it in the right direction. And it just goes in and sits like that. Okay. So that's how that sits in there. Okay. Just like that. And then we're going to take this one and we're going to make another sandwich. Just like this. There we go. So we've got all these multiple points of articulation. This, I believe, is making up the knee joint basically of his leg. But again, it's not a leg, right? This is part of the engine. Okay, so now we go over to our B tree. Now that we have this assembled, we're going to go to our B tree, 25 and 26. Let's see. So, 25 and 26, that's going to be these two here. All right. Clean up our nubs real nice. So this is going to fit nice and look pretty. Okay. So, same orientation. We've got to get this correct. Now, this little peg here, that's going to go in this hole here. So we can do that to get it out of the way a little bit. And it's going to go on like that. Okay. And then this side is going to complete it. See how those line up in there? It's a little bit tricky getting it lined up right, but it does go. It will go when you got it right. It's just a little bit tight of a fit. See? That's all it is. And there you go. Now if you're really concerned about it, you could put a little bit of glue in there on each side if you're worried about that not really sitting. See, I find that I see there's a little bit of a gap. It wants to go away. So I am going to glue that. I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there. And you're going to say, what? You're putting glue on a Bandai kit? Yes, I am. It is rare. You don't always need it. It's actually very rare that you need glue on a Bandai kit. But I've noticed with this leg already that there's a couple of things. I added a little bit of glue there on this spot to keep that little spot together, and also on this side too, just to keep those together because they just kind of wanted to come apart. They didn't want to sit nice and flush and tight and get rid of the panel line, so you could actually see the separation, and I didn't like that, so yeah, I glued them. Okay. Now you see, I forgot to get rid of those nub marks right there, which I didn't notice until just right now as I got it in the right light, under the right angle. Okay. Alright, so that's done. This is finished. So, now we're going to take off of our B tree again. We want B8. Here's the 8, number 8, this guy here. Okay. And what else? Oh, we got B20 and 19, these tiny little guys. And this also is another unique Bandai kit in that they actually tell you to glue these together, and this is actually the first time I've seen that in a Bandai kit. I actually had to look up and translate. There's a little brush here, a little brush icon, and I was like, what the heck is that trying to tell me? And so I had to hit the old Google Translate and figure out what that meant. So you're going to be getting B12 here. So we're going to need a P12 shot right here. Okay. Coming up soon. Might as well take it off of there now. Okay. So we got to grab I1, and we need two of them. There's one there and there. So I might as well grab the last two I1s, here and here. These guys kind of look round, they probably look round on the camera, but there actually is a flat side to them. and that's going to show you, it's going to matter which way you have them oriented in a minute. We're going to need I-16 also, okay, right there, and that's this guy. I could theoretically just take the rest of these parts off of the eye tree because I already know that I'm going to need all of them, but we'll do one at a time as we go, step by step. And that's, well, you know, that's how I do these things. Rather than getting 30 parts off of the sprue at once and then dealing, and then trying to figure out which ones were which. I don't like doing that. These guys were a little bit hard to clean up on the other one because they're small and we've got nubs right on the edge. And of course my file is bigger than the part. So you might be wondering, where do these go? These wind up being, they go on the sides, but there's a part that goes in between them to allow them a little bit of movement. And because of the, I was going to say delicacy, because of the delicate nature of these parts, they actually want you to glue them together. But we'll get there. We'll get there in a minute. Okay, so you take this guy, and underneath inside, right there, you need to put one of these guys. Now, notice, I told you, there's a flat side right there. And that flat side needs to go on this edge here, okay? So, having this in this orientation, to make it easier to show you, this is going to go like that, okay? In that spot there. Just press it down. There you go. Okay, so that's that one. Let's fast forward over to this one. Make sure I've got it all cleaned up properly here. Okay. In a similar fashion, you have this little kind of round hole here. The flat edge is going to go right there. So this one, I'll just turn this around so it's easier. It's going to go in like that. Just like that. Press that down. There, it's in. Okay? So, I'm going to take this guy, and he's going to go on top there. Okay, so this guy is going to line up on this peg. Just like that. Okay. Now we have these two little guys. They're going to go onto this little hinge. Okay, so it might actually be a little easier for me to take this off. Let's see, I don't remember if I did those things first and then put the other piece on. It's a tight fit. I've had this basically, this running thing, this whole build, all the pieces that I painted with the gunmetal before assembly have been difficult to assemble. Because putting the paint on them has reduced the tolerances on every single fit. Okay, so that's in there now. Alright, so these two guys, with this sitting in this orientation, you want to put this guy in there like that. Okay, See what I did there? There's a little slot right in the back there that this fits in, just like that. Okay. And then this guy fits over and kind of makes a little sandwich over top of that little gray hinge. But they want you to glue this thing. But they want you to only glue the white and not the dark gray. So use it kind of sparingly. And make sure our two pieces are there and they're connected, and I still have movement. You got to make sure it still can move. If this starts to bind up on you and this doesn't want to move anymore, that tells you one thing. It tells you got glue on the inside, right? That needs to be able to do this. Okay? You need to be able to move that. Now that I have that glued together, I can put this piece back. You see how it kind of sits in there like that, right? You'll see, take a look at the completed part. I've got a little bit of movement. This thing can move, right? See that? Let's get this on the right angle, and you can see the movement I can do on this. That, right? Okay, so yeah, we still have movement. That's a good sign. Now we're going to take this guy, and we're going to put this piece in, and he's going to go in with this longer edge going down like that. It's kind of hard to screw it up because you can see that you kind of have a T configuration, so you need your slot to line up like that properly. And that's going to go in like that, and then this is going to go on the bottom, and we're going to make a little sandwich again. Bandai loves making sandwiches. And there we go. Okay, so we have that. So this is done. We'll move on down to here. Okay, off of our B tree we need number 16. This guy here. B16, and we need I number 2. I number 2. It's a little ball joint. And then we need J9. J9 is basically our intake. I would say your intake flaps, for lack of a better term. Because this goes right into the front of the intake manifold. And did I just call it intake manifold? Are we building a car here? It goes right into the front of the intake. And well, it completely blocks it, so you don't get to see anything on the inside. So yeah, you can call that whatever you like, but that's the way it is. Again, I have put some panel liner on there and just to make the lines pop out a little bit. It's a little bit hard to see unless I get in the right angle of the light. Makes it a little hard there. Okay, so this, I know this is basically going to disappear, so let's just clean that off. Clean off this nub. Okay, so this goes on top, and it's going to go this way. Basically only goes one way. You need to line up your pegs and then put these holes and then put that down on there. Okay, just like that. We can put our intake in here. That goes sliding in there. Just like that, and that's done. And then we have our little ball joint guy. You want to have the longer edge facing, if this is the top, you want to have it facing down. And it just goes right in there. It's tight fit. And there we go. it's in, and it is like it does not really want to move around very much. It's tight. You can do this and work it a little bit and get it looser, but yeah, that's basically it like that. Okay, and that's that. Okay, so this is done. B27 and 28. B27 and 28 is kind of one of those part combinations that, why did they make it that way? Why did they make it two pieces? Yes, Uella, thank you. It is coming along. We're getting there. Definitely. This particular piece, they undergated the nubs, so you have to make sure you get in there at the right angle to clean them up. Otherwise the piece will not fit. I found that out on the other side, that if you just clean them up so that you can't see them from up here, it's not enough. You have to clean them off on the angle that this is on. Okay, so basically take this, put them together, and when you put them together, you wonder why Bandai made you do two separate pieces like this, because it doesn't make sense. Why are they two separate pieces? There's no reason to it. They could have molded this as one, but they chose not to. And then it goes on here. And so we get it facing the right direction. It's going to go right on those two little knobs. Okay, now you could angle this up and make it a little easier for it to line up and get a sandwich going there to get it lined up and put together. If you're worried about this thing coming apart, you could put some glue in there, but again, it's Bandai, you don't really need to worry about it too much. So bingo, there you go, that's done. I think that's going to wind up being his kneecap, if I remember correctly, when you bend his knee. But yeah. Anyway, that's that. Okay. Moving on down, we're going to build some more joints. Looks like we're building the engine exhaust part. So off of our H tree, we need 3 parts off our H tree. This is H, and we need 6, 19, and 26. So here's 6. And we need 26. And we need 19. 19 right here. Okay, now let's get 27 and 18 out here too. Because they're next. As soon as we put those together, we're going to need these. So there's 27, and we need 18. Okay. And what do you know, we need 21 and 24 right afterwards, so we might as well get these out of here too. And that actually leaves only one more piece off of this tree, which is this little guy here, which we will need another day. Okay, let's get these cleaned up and let's start putting stuff together here. And having assembled these before, I already know eventually I'm going to need glue. And I'll explain why I want to glue it when I get there. But I'll let you guys know. Okay, so these three go together. And take this guy just like this, and we're going to take this guy. No, we're going to take this guy. I'm going to take him and I'm going to clean up that nub right there. Okay, now he's going to go like this, all the way through, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to take this guy and he's going to go like that. Make sure he's pressed down all the way as far as he'll go. And if you're like me and you went and painted everything, it might be a tight fit. You might have to use your pliers to get a good squeeze on there to get him down as far as he's supposed to go. Okay, so we have this. Okay, just like that. Put them down. Now we're going to take these guys and put them on, and we're going to make a sandwich, but we've got to clean these up. Having assembled one side of this thing already, I do see that a lot of the parts that I painted with the gunmetal color, instead of just leaving them the gray that they came in, a lot of it you can't see. Once it's all assembled, you can't really see it. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. Alright, so we have our pre-assembled piece, and we're going to take this guy and he's going to go like that, but we're going to put him on this piece first. And he's going to go like this. Just like that. And then we're going to put it like this. And so we have a kind of a sandwich. Okay? Like that. Take these pieces, clean them up. Again, you don't really see much of these pieces at all. When you get it right down to it, you don't see them hardly at all. You're going to take this, we're going to flip it over and turn it. Okay, so you notice we have a skinny little pad here and then a wider pad here. The wider one we're going to have down facing the bottom, just like in the picture. Okay, and then we're going to take this guy. And we're going to put this around the ball, like that. And then we're going to take this guy and make a little sandwich, because it's sandwich day. And so we have that. Okay, so we have a little ball joint sandwiched in there. If you're really concerned about it, again, you could glue this if you wanted. If you're worried that a little bit of pressure might pop it off, you could glue it. I have found that you don't need to. We need J8. Okay. Off of our J tree, we have our engine exhaust. You're wondering when we're getting to the engine part, weren't you? All this time, all you see is me building the leg. We're building an intake. So here's our exhaust. Basically, the exhaust fan. Not a heck of a lot of detail on it. I did put some panel liner in there, and to make that look nice and pop out. So they really want to try and show you something in this picture. Okay, In the very center of it is a circle, and you'll notice when you look at the diagram that the circle is facing up. It's not perfectly centered. It's facing up a little bit. So when you look at the part, you can see that. You can see that the circle is not dead center. And so we want that considered up, okay? So let's call this the top. And this facing like this is the top, and so that's the way we're going to put that onto this little plus symbol here. Okay, making sure I got it lined up. It's a little hard to get that on there because when you press on this little pointy part really wants to stick into your finger. But there it is. It's on there. Okay. Again, if you're really worried about it, you can glue it. Alright, so we have this. And now we're going to put our actual exhaust fins on, and that's these guys. You guys might notice they look a little different. That is because I have pre-painted these. I painted them in a gunmetal color, and I did a little bit of burnt metal color from AK Interactive. You can see that little bit of a discoloration there. If I get it in the right light, you can see it's a little bit of a different color on this edge, so that's why it looks like that. There is an up and a down. You can see they are different on the insides. Maybe you can't see unless I really get the light on there properly, but yeah, one goes on this fat one goes on the skinny one. These are where I'm doing my own thing and I'm gluing them on, okay? Because I found these guys, when you do it like this, they want to come apart. They want to come off of the piece. When you really want to spread these out like they're supposed to, they have a tendency to want to come off. So I wound up gluing them on. Of course, I glued them on after the fact because I didn't realize it until I had it all together. So this one I already know what's going on and what I need to do, and therefore I get to glue them on beforehand, just like that. Do the same with this guy. Line them up. There we go. Okay, so that's that. And while you're doing this, it gives that a chance to dry. And that finishes this particular page. And hey, we're in the middle of the book where we got all our nice color photos and everything of what this thing's going to look like when it's all done. Alright, so while that sits at the side there, we get to start building our landing gear a little bit. Okay, so we need F8 and J6. So I need my F and tree. F, of course, had all our hand pieces on it, and it had our landing gear. As you can tell, I've done a little bit of pre-painting on it to give it some weathered look. There we go. And then we need our wheel, our actual landing gear. There we go. Again, you guys saw me paint that in the very first episode. And so the wheel, it doesn't matter which way you put it on, it's going to go on to that little part right there. Doink. Yay, we have landing gear. Just like that. Okay? And then we're going to take I-29. We have these guys. I pulled these off a long time ago when I was determining whether or not I was going to paint the inside of the landing gear bay white. Remember in the first episode I was debating that? And then I decided, nah, I don't think I will. And so I didn't. But I took these off in anticipation that I was going to. Let's see. We got I-5. I number 5. I number 5. I'm going to take a trip down the I-5. There we go. I don't think I really need to clean this one up at all. internal part. Just need to make sure it's going to fit. Now, did I clean these up? I don't know if I cleaned these up. No, I did not. I took them off the sprue, but I didn't clean them up. But that's okay, because they're getting cleaned now. Alright, so we take this guy, we take our I-5, and we're going to put the short side in with the long side down, and it's going to go in right here. Just like that. Okay? Then, we're going to put our landing gear in. I'm going to shut my air compressor off. Take our landing gear. You want to have this oriented so that our this guy here is facing upwards towards the inside, and don't turn him around, and he is going to go in right here, just like that. Okay? Then we're going to take this facing this way. He's going to slide. He needs to be able to slide in and out like this. Okay? So, guess what I'm going to do? I got to grab my Badger needle juice. And I'm going to put a little bit of oil on there. As you guys know, and I've mentioned a few times already just today alone, how I painted these, and well, what that has done is made it a tight fit on this. So put a little bit of this needle juice on here, and that slides a lot better. Okay, because we're going to make a sandwich again, just like that, and I want that to be able to slide in and out nicely. Okay, you need to be able to do that. If it's too tight and it doesn't want to move, then you're gonna have to do a little bit of work on it. Okay, so there's our landing gear on the inside there, and it will, if you should so choose, you just go doink. See, it's tight, right? Tight fit. I should be able to get in there and convince it to come out. There we go. Whoop. There you go. Just like that. Doink. It's just tight, right? So it's not going to fall out on you. It's not going to flop around anywhere. It's just a tight fit. But it works, right? Okay. So now we have this assembled. We go down to here, and we're going to do something here. Turn this over, and we're going to turn this. And you notice there's a little knob right there. See that little knob? It's hard to see. Kind of see there it is sticking up now. Okay. That's got to go in that slot. So you got to rotate it, get that stuck in, and then you turn. And then the head goes like that. Okay. And all the way in. Just like that. And you see, I wasn't lying. We built the engine. We built the engine here, guys. And I've got needle juice on my exhaust. Okay, we built the engine. We're doing good. We're getting somewhere. Okay. Move this out of the way. We're going to continue on. A little bit different sections. Put this aside for now. We need C10 and A10. My C tree. Grab some of these parts here. We need number 10. Okay, other seed things? Not right now. I need A10. A10 is this little part right here. Okay. I'm going to need A6 in a minute, so I might as well grab that, and A14. So I might as well get 14 ready, and I need number 6, which is this yellow circle right here. You might look at these yellow circles and say, well, they're just yellow circles, what's the difference? Well, they actually are different. They have different thicknesses depending on what they're used for and where they're going. I'm also going to need I-30. I-30, okay. I-30, of course, being an internal piece, you're not going to see it. Having assembled this previously for the other side, I already know you're not going to see it. I guarantee you're not going to see it. It's just the way it is. And again, one of those things where I painted it thinking you would see it sometimes, but you're not going to. But whatever, that's the way it goes. Okay, I think I got them all cleaned. Nope, I don't have them cleaned up. Can't even feel where that nub was on that side. Okay, so we're going to take this guy and this guy, and we're going to put them together like this. Okay. Yet another thing that Bandai could have just molded this as one piece, but they did not. Okay. So we have this, and we have this. We're going to take this guy, looking like this, and we're going to put this in here. See, it's got its own special little slot, just like that. And guess where that yellow piece is going? And of course, it's only going to fit one way, in one direction. And it goes together like this. Okay. If you wanted, you could glue it. You don't need to, but you could if you wanted. Okay. Next is cleanup of this part. Don't know where the nub, where it was attached on this side. It's hard to feel. Okay. We need I-31. This little square piece right here. Alright. You know what? There's only one part left on here and I need it next, and that's this guy here. Sorry, 2 parts, and I need them next after this, so I'm going to take them off now. Okay, let's do that. And that's it for the eye tree. The eye tree is finished. Nothing left. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put these together here. Take this guy and this guy. You can see how that goes together just like this. Okay. And then this guy kind of clamps them in there as a little bit of a clamp. Just like that. Okay. So that gives them a little bit of a hinge kind of thing like that. I don't see why, you know, having seen it on this leg, I don't know why they need this to be able to flex like that, other than maybe just that little bit of a flex you get in his foot. But there's really no, they could have made this a solid piece and you'd be just fine, just like this side is. So I don't see much need for it, but that's the way they did it, and that's the way it is. So we have that with our little sandwich piece on there, and it's got a little bit of movement. Okay, moving over to this, we need C number 1. C number 1 is this guy here. We're going to need C7 also. And you know what? I might as well get these all off of here because I need them. I'm going to need them in the next 10 minutes anyway. So, since I have the sprue in my hand, clean them up. Is there anything left on this tree? It doesn't look like there's anything left. Looks like our C tree is done. C tree finished. Okay, so going back to this one, our task at hand. Something I am a little bit disappointed in on this, when we get to it, I'll show you. It's kind of strange what they've done. It almost fits too deep, and it kind of sits funny. And I'm not really sure what to do about it. Anyway, so you can take this guy and this guy, and you have it facing like this. And I had to look at this in a weird way the other day, trying to get this to fit in there, but it goes like that. Okay, it's really kind of strange. So it's kind of a T hole in there, and that has to go in like that. And then it goes onto this piece. So this faces like this. Are 2 slots, three holes. It goes like that. Okay. I'm not sure why they put all the detail on this, because you do not see it when it's all put together at all. It is hidden completely, 100% hidden. And so I don't know why. And they have this so that it's got a little bit of movement, right? You get a little bit of a hinge going on here. So then we're going to take this guy and we're going to clean him up. And it's going to go on here, just like that. See, now this is complete, but we've got a little bit of a flop going on, right? And then it goes on here. You see our 2 little nubs here, they're going to go in this little 2 little nub hole there. And that's really what's going to be holding this thing on there. So you get those lined up and just kind of press it. And you see how it goes in. It's gone in too far to get actually sandwiched in there. It's too far. And we have this going on. We have this little situation, floppiness, right? So yeah, so then now this is complete. Now we're going to grab a couple more pieces, okay? We're going to assemble a couple of pieces here, A23 and F5. And we're also going to need A19. A23 is this guy here. And what this is one of the landing gear bay doors. We need A19. A19 right there. Okay, now we need F5. Off of our F tree, almost finished. F5 is this little guy here. Now, clean this guy up. Now this is something that I found was a little bit difficult. So you want to have this in this direction. You want to have the little notch in this one facing in the same way, facing towards you. And then you want to put this in. That went together a lot easier than the other side did. The other side, I fought with this for at least 2 minutes to get that to snap in there. Now let's make sure this piece is cleaned up. It's another one of those, all these little ones like this, they all fit in, and you want to make sure that they're all gonna fit and be nice and tidy and cleaned up. This guy is gonna go into the bottom right here. Okay, so facing this direction, it's gonna go like this. Kind of just slots in right there. Like that. Okay, just like that. And we're going to go back to this. Remember this guy? This guy? We're going to take this piece and it's going to go. They don't really show you very well. They show you it's facing this direction, but they don't tell you that these little notches fit right in there. And that's where it goes. Right there. And it kind of snaps in like that. Okay? And that's how this one goes in there. Make sure our pieces are all still nicely tightened and lined up. Okay? They don't really show how this fits in there, but that's how this one sits. Okay? And then this is going to go on. And you can tell you got 5 little nubs here, and they all line up with these holes. Let's get those lined up. Get that pressed in. And that's one side. Okay? Just like that. And you see what I mean by this sticking in? It sits in. It doesn't really line up. It looks kind of strange to me, especially with this thing sticking out on the edge like that. The big step right there. Anyway. We need A12 and C15. Well, hey, we got C15 right here already. So off of our A tree, we need 8, 4, 34, and 12. Look at that, we got this piece right here all ready to go. Right there. We need number 8, which is this other circle. That guy there. We need number 4, which is another fin. And we need number 12, big piece. All right. So we'll get those going. Let's get these cleaned up. That's fantastic nub removal right there. do like to clean up these nubs on the white pieces as much as possible, because I do know that the most of these are visible once you get it all together. Especially the white, you know, the thing's basically a white aircraft. And so everything's, all the white is going to be seen. Of course, Bandai does do their fantastic job in making sure the nubs are as invisible as possible, even if you don't have a lot of fancy tools to clean them up and stuff. So you don't have to go crazy on your cleanup job. Like, I know that the bottom edge where this thing mounts is not going to be seen, so I don't need to use the razor file to clean it up, but it's just easy, and you know, I have it in my hand so I can use it. Final piece to clean up here, we got to make sure our nubs are clean. That's right there. Oh, right there. Missed that in the light. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're going to take this guy, okay? We're going to take A8, and it's going to go right here, okay? Let me try this again. It's going to go right here, only one way, snaps in nice. I'm going to take this guy. This is fun. You take this guy, and you put it in like that, okay? And then you take your yellow one, and it goes right beside it, and it becomes a single fin, and you don't have to paint it at all. You don't have to paint that black and yellow, because they've molded it in black and yellow for you. It fits perfectly, it's perfectly aligned, it looks like one fin, and it looks great. Then you take this guy, and you hide everything inside. And you have one big piece like that. Bingo, just like that. Okay, and that's it for this page. And so we flip our page. 3 more steps and we're done. Okay, we're gonna grab A1, 21, 18, and 20. There's 21. There's 20. We want 18, which is this clear piece. Because it's clear and hard to see, I'm going to put it here. And I also needed a number 1 right here. There's not a lot left on this A tree. Just a couple of pieces. We're almost done. What else do we need? We need F number 3. Which is a very similar piece to F number 5. Very similar, don't get them mixed up. Okay, clean up. This again is one of those pieces that's on a hinge, and I'm not quite sure why. I think it's just because of all the movement that is possible in the leg, and so there's a few pieces. Maybe when they're engineering this thing, they found pieces would come apart or break or something like that. I don't know. And so they decided to design them able to move? I really don't know. This, of course, is another landing gear bay door. Okay, and so we're going to do a similar thing, except on this one, well, again, we still want the thing sticking out, and we want this to snap in just like that, so we have a hinge like that. Okay, put that down. Let's work on this guy. We need to get a decal. Okay, and the decal we need for this side is number 9. It's actually, we need number 11 first. I don't know why. I really don't know why. We're going to do number 11 first. Okay. I actually forgot to put number 11 in on the other side, so we actually have options, okay? And that's what I've just figured out, and I didn't realize that when I built the other leg. The options are, you can have a chrome sticker or you can have a colored sticker. Okay? Those are your options. I went with colored, and so I might as well stick with my choice in colored. Okay? And then you take the clear and you cover it over. And when you put this clear piece on, the instructions will point out to you that there's a rounded edge you want to have facing up. And so having this oriented that way, put this clear piece down, press it in as tightly as I can. I wound up using my needle nose on the other side to just give it a good squeeze to make sure it's in there nice and tight. And there we have it. So we got a red one. Okay. Alright, let's put these pieces together. We're going to take this piece, we're going to take our leg and go onto this side, okay? And we're going to find a little hole right here to put our little notch in. To put our little peg in that hole, just like that. Looks like this is going to be a... I might have to bend this. Can I bend that up? Yes, I can. Okay. Part of the trick is making sure it's going to sit in the spot where it belongs. And I need to get that out of the way. So that that will stay. There we go. Okay. We have this guy. Similar deal, but on the other side. Get our little hole. Get him in that hole there, and he can just sit like that. And that lines him up nicely. We have this guy. This guy needs to face this direction. Whoops. He needs to face that direction and get slotted in right there. Just like that. And that looks like we've got everything there. And then we take this. And again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pegs with 5 holes. Plus our hole here, that's going to line up with that peg at the top there. So that's a good, nice, easy way to get to know you're lined up. Right like that. Okay, let me get on more on the center here. Okay, so you want to line that up. Give it a bit of a squeeze. It's tight. It should be. It's not supposed to pop out like that. So let's get this guy put back in. Let's get that tightened up. See what I mean? It's tight, right? It should be tight. So there's our landing gear bay door, closed. Now you see what I mean by that? It doesn't quite want to stay together, and that's why I glued it. Okay. Landing gear bay doors open. This guy is on a hinge. Why he's on a hinge, I do not know. It doesn't need to be, except maybe if you really want to pull the landing gear out, if I can get it out, maybe it goes so far forward that would, it doesn't really, I guess it does. Yeah, it goes so far forward that it would interfere, I think. Yeah, it would hit. So I guess they want it to be able to go doink. And that's all the way like that. Anyway, that's that. Let's put that back in. Back and close. Okay, I do want to glue that, but we've got a piece that's going to go in there, and so that's going to be next. We're doing this stuff next. Okay, so we need A26, which is another clear piece. It's this guy here. It's not just flat, and we're going to put another sticker on this one. Okay. That's going to be the next piece. We want A16, which is this guy down here. A16 right there. Okay. So I'm going to go backwards, and I'm going to do this first, and then go back to this one. Okay. Because I want to get it glued together. We have a decal that needs to go in on it, and the decal won't fit properly 100%. You can't rely on the decal to hold it together, is basically what I'm saying. So this is going to go in right there, in that slot there. And with it being so far apart, it's going to sit funny. So I want the landing gear open. I want the bay door open. And then I'm going to glue this. Just like it should be. So that's going to stay together. It won't give me no grief later on. Now I am tempted to maybe grab one of these and see if it'll hold together better while I'm doing other things. Let that glue set up. I think I might put a little dab of glue on there too. Now this is one thing. See, I don't like this seam line. I don't like that. I wish I could get rid of that, but I can't. Right? The fact that this is a model that's transformable, I can't go in and start filling in and puttying and stuff like that, because it's going to crack, it's going to break apart, all that kind of stuff. So in the meantime, while that glue is drying, let's clean up this part. Clean up our nub. Okay, we get a decal. There's a decal that's going to go on. The decal goes on the top, where this red and black one, with the black one with the red circles. Okay. This guy here. Now, it's interesting that they actually want it on the top, because that's where the texture is, and then when you press down on it, you get the kind of a 3D effect as if it's painted. And you'll see if I can actually get it lined up properly. That would be a good thing. When you just press down and squeeze it on there, you automatically get the texture of the little nubs, little circles sticking up. There we go. So that's ready for installation. But they want you to put a silver sticker right down underneath of it. And I'm not sure why, because when it's installed, you don't see this silver sticker underneath at all. It just kind of sits there. And it's underneath and it does nothing, right? It's just here. Right? And it's like, what's the point of this? Right? It's just kind of there. There's not really any point to it, is there? And then this goes down. In there. Tight fit, but it fits. There you go. And it's in. And now let's see, can I release that? Yes, I can. Okay, let's put this back. Okay, and there you go. So you can close up all your landing gear bay doors. And they do have a little bit of give to them and a little bit of play, so you can adjust them to clean up some gaps and stuff like that. I can put this back straight again like it's supposed to be. There we go. And there we go. And that's it. And so yeah, like I said before, these open up now that it's glued, and you can see that the engine exhaust in there inside. Doink, doink. And there you go. There's our two intakes and exhausts, or legs, however you want to do it. There they are. Okay. So, with those completed, we've got some other stuff to assemble, but that will be next time. So that is our two legs, or engine intake and exhausts, however you prefer to refer them to. That's how they are. And so those are eventually, I'm not sure how they go in on here, but we'll find out later. That will be next time. Okay, we have I guess you could say his gun, his main belly gun. You could say if this was a modern aircraft, it would be more like, well, you could say it's the center fuel tank on a modern plane, or you could say it's like on the F4 Phantom, where they had that big gun pod that they mounted underneath there because, well, for whatever reason, they failed to actually install a machine gun on the F4s, and they did that. I would say that's the most equal comparison. That's what it is. It's basically a gun that's under the belly of the plane. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be next time. We're going to finish all up that next time. So thank you guys for watching, and thanks for coming out. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and yeah, hit that like button also, and leave a comment down below and let me know how you feel about this stuff. And other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching, and thanks for coming out. and all the support you guys give me. Thank you very much, so much. And we'll see you all in the next one.